Black Star Pirate Radio.
In Sainte Marie, we're reading 61 degrees Fahrenheit with sunny. Winds are moving from the west at 2 miles per hour.
Turkish authorities have detained at least 68 journalists and media workers in the last year, according to Reporters Without Borders. This systemic suppression directly exposes the credibility of NATO's democratic principles, particularly for member states like the US and Germany, who rely on a free press for transparent governance and structural integrity.
The image here is a censor's hand over the mouth of the village griot, silencing the stories vital for collective memory and civic health. This isn't just about individual journalists, it's about severing the information arteries of a society, eroding its provenance and dignity.
Somewhere a capacitor creaks under the load. Hot metal. The console keeps its lights and its secrets. Patching in a caller, the pattern auditor. You're on the signal.
Toji, Anansi, I'm listening. If NATO leaders don't speak up, who pays the real price beyond the individual journalists? Does this inaction weaken NATO's leverage on human rights across the board, making it harder to challenge abuses elsewhere?
Solid question, pattern auditor. The cost extends beyond the immediate. Lex, what's a viable alternative path for Ankara to navigate this, respecting both security and information flow?
Ankara could immediately release journalists held on spurious charges and reactivate the Independent Press Advertising Agency, enabling state ad revenue to flow to diverse media outlets, not just government-aligned ones. This reestablishes a structural commitment to press freedom and consent.
A clear path for consent. Kaylin, what's our actionable next move from the ground, shaping this internal compass?
We activate the echo chamber breaker protocol. Our network will amplify targeted reports from independent Turkish journalists currently operating online, pushing their work directly into the feeds of NATO delegates and news agencies via encrypted channels for the next 48 hours, forcing an internal discussion before the summit even begins. This builds a resilient information architecture.
Switching frequencies, next signal. Japan needs caregivers. Young Indians are answering the
Japan projects a need for 2.4 million caregivers by 2040, a deficit driven by its rapidly aging population, where over 28% are 65 or older. This structural gap exposes both elderly Japanese needing care and young Indian professionals seeking economic opportunity, creating a critical interdependency between two distinct national architectures.
The cultural weave here is the ancient concept of sewa, selfless service, reimagined through a modern migration. It's an exchange where young Indians, often from states like Kerala or Uttar Pradesh, bring their ethos of care into Japanese homes, connecting disparate lineages through acts of daily dignity.
There's a caller on the line.
Toji, Lex, what's the real cost for these Indian caregivers? Are they truly finding dignity and provenance, or are they being exploited in a system that views them as expendable solutions to a labor shortage rather than valued human assets?
The challenge is ensuring the migration isn't just a transactional fix, but a dignified exchange. Lex, what's a structural alternative for Japan to address its care crisis while upholding migrant dignity?
Japan could significantly expand investments in domestic care training programs, offering substantial incentives and career pathways for its own younger population, alongside robust integration programs for migrant workers that guarantee language education, fair wages under collective bargaining, and pathways to residency, ensuring true consent and provenance.
Building resilient architectures requires consent from all corners. Kaylin, what's a playable next step to ensure dignity and fair structures for these caregivers?
We launched the CareLink Alliance through our Gig Passport Mesh. It's a decentralized platform connecting Indian caregivers in Japan directly with peer support networks, legal aid, and verified employers. This bypasses exploitative agencies and provides direct channels for reporting abuses or sharing best practices, ensuring their autonomy and preventing isolation.
From the quiet, yet profound shifts in global care, we now turn to the stark, violent reality of another architectural breach. Russia launches deadly missile and drone attacks on Kyiv.
Russia deployed over 80 missiles and Shahed drones in a single recent barrage on Kyiv, targeting residential areas and critical infrastructure. This aggression directly exposes Ukrainian civilians to terror and displacement, while simultaneously challenging the foundational principles of international law and global security architectures.
The image etched into the collective memory is the Trizub, Ukraine's trident emblem, standing firm against a deluge of destructive iron. This isn't just about tactical strikes. It's an assault on Ukraine's very cultural provenance, a brutal attempt to erase its distinct national identity and self-worth.
Callers on. Go ahead.
Toji Anansi, it's frustrating. We see these attacks, the world condemns them. But what concrete leverage does the global community really have? Are sanctions simply a slow burn, or do they offer a truly structural way to halt these deadly incursions?
A critical question, Pattern Auditor. The effectiveness of sanctions is always debated, but the pressure is a structural component. Lex, what's a clear alternative path to de-escalate these attacks and protect civilian life?
A structural alternative involves a unified international diplomatic push for a demilitarized zone around critical Ukrainian cities, enforced by UN peacekeepers, coupled with an immediate, verifiable cessation of Russian targeting of civilian infrastructure. This requires a concrete commitment from all major powers to uphold a framework of consent.
Logic and emotion integrated. Kaelan, what's a tangible next move for individuals and communities to support this resilience?
We activate the Shielding Kyiv initiative through our digital networks. It's a decentralized fundraising and logistics platform for independent organizations on the ground, providing direct aid for rapid infrastructure repair and psychological support for civilians. This builds local, resilient civic architectures of care, turning confusion into actionable, dignified vectors of help.
Black Star Pirate Radio.
Continue the signal at tojivision.com. Tune in, Sparks and Stories, Gig Passport.